By now you should have received new information about your website. It's going to be an eccwebops.com account. The steps for setting it up are very similar to what we have used before. However, let me start from scratch. Only, of course, assuming that you have already installed FileZilla. If you still need to install FileZilla, please consult other tutorial videos within the course to find out how to do this. I'm going to start, before I even launch FileZilla, by creating a new folder to keep my web files. I can do it either on the desktop or somewhere where it's easy for me to find. I'll right-click on the desktop and tell it to create a new folder. So right-click, new folder, and I'll just give it my name. This is going to be my username in the web page anyway, F. Rodriguez. And I'll just move it somewhere where it's sort of out of the way. Maybe you have a lot of other stuff, a lot of shortcuts here, but just somewhere where you can find it easy. That'd be great. Next, since I already have FileZilla installed, and if you have Windows 7 or another operating system, please let me know if you have problems following this video. I'm going to find FileZilla by just typing in FILE, and FileZilla is the first thing that pops up. I'll click to run that, and it's going to give me whatever previous settings it had before. It's looking in my user folder, and it's telling me that basically there's nothing there. Now, because my user name in this computer is the same as the folder, that might be a little confusing. Yours may be different. Maybe you chose a different name for your folder out here as opposed to what your folder name in the user's folder is. Next, I'm going to go and press Control S, which is actually the same thing as File Site Manager. In my sites, I have nothing. If you already have a site that you've used before, you can either use it and edit it. I would recommend that you just delete it. I'm going to create a new site, and I'll call this one F. Rodriguez. Next, on the protocol, we want to be using FTP. The host is going to be the host and the information that was sent to you. It's going to be, for me, frodriguez.eccwebops.com. Port is 21. If you want to type it in, that's fine. If you don't, the system will put it in for you. Encryption, TLS if available is fine. Logon type is not anonymous. I'll click here and it's going to be a normal. My username is what I've been telling you all this time, F. Rodriguez, and my password is my secret password. One was emailed to you as well. Before I click OK, I want to make sure to go into the Advanced tab and set my default local directory. That's this folder that I created on my desktop. So I'll click on Browse and find my desktop. And there's the only thing there is F. Rodriguez. Maybe you have a whole bunch of other stuff, but be sure to find your folder, click to select it. It's blue, that's how you know it's selected. And then tell it to select the folder. The default remote directory, it's very much like the previous installation, and that is going to be /public_HTML. Most, if not all, Linux servers have the same naming convention. Public HTML is universal, basically. And that's it. I'm going to tell it to connect and see what happens. And basically what happens is that I get an error. Maybe and hopefully you will not get this error. If you don't, then you're connected. You'll see a blank slate of files on this side, or rather no files, just a window. I already have some files on the server, so I hope that if I click OK, then I'll see those files. It's telling me it's retrieving directory listing of public HTML. However, because I'm working out of a server at the college, the way that our firewall is set up, there might be a little bit of too much checking, a little bit of a lot of mistrust between servers, so it's not going to let me connect right away. In case you get this kind of error, failed to retrieve directory listing, or something else that tells you that the host name doesn't match, your your client does not match what's going on in the server, just X out of it. But like I said, hopefully you're connected by now. I'm going to stop that just so that I can start again. Go to the site manager, find my F. Rodriguez, and tell it, rather than using explicit FTP over TLS in case you get this error. Explicit FTP over TLS, if available, this is basically the security certificates that are going to be checked. I'm going to go in secure for my class. I'll be connected for a little bit. Tell it to use just plain FTP, so it's got no layer of security, and then I'll tell it to connect. If I already had a connection going, I'll tell it to stop it, avoid previous connection, click OK, and cross my fingers and hoping that it resolves the address up there. And then now I see my public HTML, and there it is right here. As I said, I've already moved up some files there. Yours will be empty. You should at least be able to see in this window your public HTML. Below there will be space for you to build your index.html if you're in one of the CMS classes, or even later in the Web Design 2 class, you'll also have a WordPress directory. That's what that is. And if you have any issues connecting with this new server, please let me know. By the way, this whole thing, this whole rigmarole, will actually be put in a directory that's different from what we have done before. Let me show you really quick. I've been trying to resolve this issue with the web server vendor. However, they don't seem to understand what I'm talking about. It used to be that, for example, for my page, I would be able to just type in F. Rodriguez and then the website that used to be WeAreIDT. I was expecting to be able to type in my new eccwebops.com. That, however, results in an error. What I'm trying to tell you is that your website actually will be put in a different place. Yeah, you'll get this message if you try this. Instead, you'll have to type in the name of the server, ECC El Centro College webops.com / and then the tilde. That should be, if you press shift, it's going to be in the uppermost left corner, and then your username. F. Rodriguez is mine. I'll type that in, and then I should be able to see what I have published so far. In the connection that I'm using right now, so it's a little bit slower. There's a lot of security, like I said, but I've only have a couple of things there. Yours will be blank. It'll tell you that there's an error until you actually load up something. For that, you can move on to the next transcript when it's available.